Welcome back to another episode of Warren Cali. In this episode, I will detail the story of an innocent man who lost his life in a gang war. On average each day, about 125 people are killed with guns, and more than twice as many are shot and wounded, and a lot of people shot will be innocent victims. A lot of gangs were at war in South Central Los Angeles, from the east side to the west side of South Central, some being gangs like the Avalon Gangsta Crips and the 6'5 Menlo Crips. An incident where occurred where the Menlos attended a funeral in the Avalon's turf. An OG from a gang called the 6'7 Neighborhood Crips died, and the funeral was being held in a territory claimed by the Avalons. September 2nd, 2015, a shootout between the gangs occurred, resulting in someone from 6'5 Menlo's death in the ongoing feud. That 6'5 Menlo died at the funeral. Police testified an expert about the funeral recounted other details, such that the person killed on the day of the funeral was a 6'5 Menlo. A day or two later, a high-ranking member of the Avalon was killed. Later, another member of the Avalons named Rashawn Randall was also killed on September 12th. Things didn't quiet at all for a few weeks, and the war would turn back up. But Cedric Horn, he had nothing to do with that type of lifestyle. He was a civilian, earning an honest living. Cedric was working as a landscaper, and on August 30th, 2015, his girlfriend Nicole accompanied him to work. After completing other landscaping jobs, he arrived at West 68th Street around 5:20 to 5:30 p.m., where they met with Cedric's boss. This location was in territory claimed by the 6'5 Menlo Crips. Cedric asked Nicole to go get gas, telling her his landscaping job was not going to take long. Nicole stayed at the location for about 10 minutes before leaving. She was gone for about 15 to 20 minutes. During that time period, Cedric and his boss mowed the lawn. They later finished their work. Cedric's boss left, leaving Cedric at the site alone. Sometime after Cedric's boss left, and before Nicole returned, Cedric was shot 7 times with a 9. 2 of the shots were fatal. At trial, detectives testified that the casings from the bullets fired at Cedric were found on the corner of Vermont and West 68th Street. He also testified that the evidence suggested that Cedric collapsed next to where the bullet casings were eventually found. After obtaining surveillance video from various locations on the street surrounding the crime, detectives spent days examining the videos and established the following sequence of events. A black Chevy Avalanche truck was traveling south on Menlo and turned right onto West on West 68th Street towards Vermont, and then turned right north on Vermont and parked just north of West 68th Street. A black Chevy Avalanche truck was traveling south on Menlo and then turned right on West 68th Street towards Vermont. It then turned right on Vermont and parked just north of West 68th Street. The shooter exited from the driver's side and walked towards the rear of the vehicle, and a minute later, he re-entered the truck. The vehicle was next seen traveling south on Menlo Avenue again, where it stopped and somebody got out. The person exited from the rear passenger door and walked towards the back of the truck, then got back in. The truck again made a right onto West 68th Street. All this driving was done at a normal rate of speed. The truck was again seen turning right onto Vermont Avenue from West 68th Street, and then right again on West 66th Street, only now the truck was speeding. Cedric was only 24 years old when he was killed.
You can't let gang members keep you in the house and keep you from providing for your kids.
Cedric's big sister Crystal says that's what her brother was doing, working to provide a life for a baby that will only know his dad through memories that aren't his own.
He changed my life a lot. I call him my superhero. It would have been nice to watch him be a father, to allow my mom and dad.
Cedric's family would do a candlelight and demand for the shooters to be caught and arrested.
Of gun violence. Tonight, his family is hoping that his passion in life will be the very thing that will bring his killer to justice. NBC4's John Caddis-Klimak joins us now with this cold case, new at 11.
You see it on the news.
Yeah, he's awake, but he's not breathing well.
It don't really hit home until it hits home.
Gang violence in South LA hit home for this family just 4 months ago. The pain still stings. It was almost dusk when 24-year-old Cedric Horn was near the area of 68th and Vermont. An elementary school across the street had just let out, and Cedric had just finished a landscaping job. His girlfriend Nicole was there.
He told me, he was like, go get gas.
But when she returned, a commotion on the street, and Cedric wasn't answering his cell phone.
And I seen him laying there looking at the sky.
On November 7, 2016, the alleged shooter Weldon was arrested, and he was brought in for questioning by detectives. He eventually admitted that he drove the Chevy Avalon truck that was used in the shooting, but he asserted he had no idea that the alleged shooter, who he later identified as a man named Anthony, was going to shoot Cedric. He claimed that he and Anthony and two other friends were headed to a weed dispensary on Florence Avenue, slightly west of Vermont. He said he was taking the streets to avoid the traffic on Florence when Anthony suddenly told him to stop the truck. He said that Anthony told him to stop the truck, so he did. He said Anthony exited, then shot Cedric. In December of 2016, Los Angeles Police Department detectives showed Anthony the portion of the videotape interview with Weldon, where he identified Anthony as the shooter. They did not show the video to any other person associated with the Avalons. After seeing the information police showed him, Anthony called someone named LN and told him what happened. 11 days later, while being in jail, a call was recorded between Anthony and an unidentified man. The caller informed Anthony that this person had told LN that Weldon had identified him as the shooter. Anthony said the allegations was fucked up because Weldon was his boy, someone he would go to war with. 1 month after Cedric's murder, the Los Angeles Police Department searched the Avalanche truck and found several items, including a kit for the cleaning of a barrel of a 9mm gun. At trial, it was over 13 witnesses, along with video evidence at the scene, along with Weldon admitting to his role and saying that Anthony was a shooter in a recorded video. At trial, both Weldon and Anthony, they both received life. Cedric had nothing to do with the Menlos and the Avalon Gangsta Crips gang war, and was simply lost his life working in the gang's turf at the center of the war. R.I.P. to him. This will conclude this episode. If you haven't already, check out my previous episodes. Don't forget to like, hype, comment, and subscribe.